Doesn't matter if you're a collector, an investor, a flipper, if you're in the sports cards hobby, at some point chances are you're gonna want to sell off some of your cards. To maximize your profit, timing is everything. It's going to be the topic of today's video. Let's get to it. Hey guys, Pat here from Card Collector HQ, back with another video. Welcome back to my channel, guys. I hope everyone's having a great day. Today we're going to talk about selling sports cards, and more specifically, when is the right time to do so. So personally, when I try to figure out when is the right timing to sell a sports card, I will basically look at three basic elements. First off, the player itself. Second, his current performances. And third, what are the current market trends going on right now? Now, probably the biggest element that you need to consider is the player itself. If you want to maximize your profit, you want to sell on the hype. So it's really important for you to assess the player and get as much information as you can, both in the sports circles and in the sports cards circle, because the guy could be a Hall of Famer, a retired player, but get a lot of interest and hype about his cards. Or the other way around, maybe he doesn't get a lot of hype in the market, but he's really heating up on ice, on the field, wherever he plays, and then he's going to get some attention from the card market. So obviously this is going to be different if the player is retired, he's a Hall of Famer or not, or if we're talking about a hot new prospect. In that case, you need to do your research and form your own opinion about the guy's ceiling and the guy's upside. Is he going to get only better over time? Has he peaked already? These could be all factors that you need to consider before selling his cards. Another thing that's interesting to investigate regarding the hype, you want to know what's going on currently with the player. Has he been traded? Is there rumors of a trade? Is he a free agent that could sign to a popular team, or that has just signed to a big team and then he can make a play for a championship? These are all different things that are going to affect the hype, and usually right around the corner, right after the news has come in, this is a good time to maximize your profit, because that's when the attention will be on the player, not 6 months from that, but right after the news just break in. Next off, I talked about it a little bit before, but the performances of the player is really also important. Obviously, if the guy is still playing, you can see some guys tearing up, having a really hot streak. This will once again bring the spotlight to these players, and you'll see a rise in prices. If you think that the guy can only get better and that's just the start of something big, then might be a good option to hold on to the card and see how good it can be, how high the card can get. But if you think it's just a fluke, that's a good time to really jump in and consider selling the cards. On the other hand, if a player is having a down season, a cold streak, and so on, this is usually not the best timing. Could be a good time to buy. That's also a strong possibility to take advantage of the performances of the player. So another thing that's really important to consider is the current trends in the market. So year after year, there's a cycle that we often see where the prices of the cards usually go down during the off season and then go up in the months just before the start of the season and in the first few months, and then plateau at a certain point, and then maybe rise up maybe a little bit in the playoff and go down in the off season. It's usually this kind of cycle that you'll see in prices, because it matches the level of excitement from people for that particular sport. So at the beginning of the season, trades have been made during the off season, players have changed teams, there is usually an excitement at the start of a season. That's a good time to sell your cards. So that's about the timing, but you also need to consider what are the current trends in the market and in the sports card hobby. So for instance, for the last few months, PSA and Beckett stopped their services, and then we saw a little dip in price in the rock art because people were not able to buy to send some new cards for grading. So that whole flipper market about selling raw, grading the cards, and then selling back graded, it's not the same as it was a year ago because of that. So you need to be aware of those phenomena. Auto cards seem to gaining some traction. Serial number cards, because once again, there's a lot of cards now coming back from PSA, and a lot of people are expecting some kind of a junk slab era where there's going to be some base rookie and base cards and second year cards flooding the market, because like so many people send those kind of regular cards to PSA that this is not where the money is gonna go. The money is gonna go towards rarer items, serial number cards, autographed cards, those kind of cards. So you need to do your research, you need to follow up, you know, watch some YouTube videos. There's a lot of content about sports cars, a lot of blog, podcasts, forums, Reddit, whatever, and you can really see what's going on in the hobby and try to take advantage with some of your cards and try to sell them off at the right time. One last thing that you need to take into account that I didn't mention before, it's your own personal goals. So what are you trying to achieve selling sports cards? Are you just trying to offload some of your cards and put money back into your collection for cards that you'd rather have? Are you trying to do a quick flip and a quick buck? Are you going for a longer term investment? So I think it's important for you to understand that and to know that and be kind of true to yourself and keep that in mind when you try to build up your strategy around sports cards. Let's finish up with some examples. So number one, let's say that an ordinary player was just traded to a championship team and he's having a really hot streak. I think he's a good candidate for sell now. If he's a great player that has been traded to a championship team and the guy's having a hot streak, then maybe it's a better idea to hold on a little bit and see how good he could get if he can go to a championship, win a cup or whatever, because then compared to the previous scenario, his upside is much better. Whether the other guy, maybe it's luck, maybe it's just like a hot streak and he'll cool off and then the prices will go down eventually. So once again, you need to take advantage of the performances, but also of the player's status, his team, his chances of winning a championship. Another example of a good player, maybe an eventual Hall of Famer that is having a cold streak or a down season, probably not the best time to panic and sell your cards of that player, because this is not where you're going to get your best price, obviously. On the other hand, if a guy is having a down year, a cold streak, but he's not necessarily an all-star or a future Hall of Famer, then in that case, I don't think it's going to matter that much anyways. So remember guys, this is a little bit like art, it's not exact science. Of course, you need to do your assessment, form your own opinion about each player individually, and consider the market, the current trends. But these are a few tips and tricks that I think that if you take into account, you can really maximize your profit selling your sports cards. So that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe down below. There is also a link in the description to join my newsletter. Until the next one, enjoy your week, have fun, see you later.